Good evening, and welcome to the podcast of Epic Waves. This is a show today about hurting to heal. And I have on the table with me Miss Danielle to the left of me, Miss Christian to the right, and to my far right, Miss D.
Hello, Michael.
Hello, everybody. So we are talking about hurting to heal. And so let's get into it. So first thing we want to do is we want to talk about, can you heal while still loving the person who hurt you? That is the question. Can you heal while still loving the person who hurt you? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call out somebody to answer the question first. So the person that I choose is going to be Miss D.
I knew that. And what I'm trying to figure out is why you go straight for the jugular, like off the top, off the rip.
I mean, I had to.
Can you heal? What was the question again?
Can you heal while still loving the person who hurt you?
Sure you can.
Okay.
Sure you can. It's not an overnight process, obviously. To think that just because you decide to move on, decisions and healing while hurting, all of those things work together. But it's a matter of choosing to move forward in that. How can I put it? Healing and forgiving the person who hurt you. That's a layered question.
Okay.
But yes, you can heal. Doesn't happen overnight, but you can heal. I'll leave it at that for right now, because that's kind of a too deep of a question right at the beginning of the conversation. But yeah, you can heal.
Okay. Miss Christian, I'm going to give it to you at this time.
You can heal, but you got to be open. You got to be honest. You got to be transparent. You, most importantly, what I have learned, you have to acknowledge your role and accept the accountability that you played in it as well.
Oh, wow.
That's good.
Be it you being a willing participant, being, involuntarily, it was inherited just from, previous behaviors from other friends and family. You got to accept your role and take accountability for what you played into that as well.
Okay, I received that. And to Miss D, Miss Danielle.
Personally, it depends on the situation.
Okay.
You can, but I would set boundaries as to the relationship with that person.
Okay. Now, with me asking that question, I got to answer, of course, right? For me, I have to say, from my own perspective, no. Because when you hurt me to the point of now having to heal, I'm constantly in the back of my mind reminded of your hurt to me, if that makes sense. So
It does make sense, but I do have a question for you.
okay, go ahead.
I mean, it's not that simple. Well, that's not a question. That's a statement. It's not that simple, because I guess in my mind, I'm thinking about the totality of relationship,
Okay.
not just a relationship between two people who decided to. I'm thinking about every relationship, because you have the parental relationship, you have the parent-child relationship,
Absolutely.
all kinds of relationships. So you can't just say, no, I can't heal, because then you negate all of those other relationships. Because, I mean, let's just be honest. We've been hurt by our parents.
Okay.
Our children have hurt us.
Partners.
Partners, right. That's the word I was looking for. So you have all of these relationships. So you have to choose. Because no, I'm not gonna heal. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna throw your parents or your children or your partner away because you just say no, I'm not gonna heal?
It's
How do
very
you- How
layered.
do you move? Yeah, that's it's so layered.
And who wants to walk around with hurt, with the burden of hurt? Who wants to walk around carrying that?
Okay, what I will say is that it would be difficult for me
There, put
to.
that word in
Okay,
there.
the-
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
So it would be difficult for me to move forward with a person in a relationship, like a love relationship, boyfriend and girlfriend type
Okay.
situation, because I'm going to constantly be re-triggered about by the hurt when there is an error. Let me say that. Not necessarily saying every day I'm waking up, oh, you hurt me today. You hurt me yesterday. You hurt me 2 weeks ago. Yes, I'm going to continue to try to move forward. But when it comes to a roadblock or something happens, is when I'm re-triggered by, hey, this hurt back here.
Yeah. So, you're looking at it from the partner
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
relationship.
Correct. From
Yes.
a partner relationship, yes. And even if we go to the level of family,
Mm-hmm.
if we talk about family, like we say, no matter what, you're still my family.
Hmm.
Yeah, no matter what.
But
right.
but
Because I've had that but with family.
right.
I mean, you can say you've had that but with every relationship, even in with my husband, you've had those. Yeah, you're my husband, you're my wife, and I've had that whole where I've distanced myself from family because of hurt.
Mhm.
Yeah, you when you are hit with hurt, it can be a gut punch.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And you make choices. Like I know for me personally, my choice with family a few years back was I got to take a step back.
Mhm.
Because I was hurt
Hmm.
and I felt that who I was as a not even just a person, but who I was as your family, somebody that we didn't have a choice in the matter that we're family, but
Right.
we say that we love one another, but yet and still there was, I felt hurt that was purposeful.
Okay.
Like you put a target on my back and you aimed and shots were fired type thing. So, instead of continuing with what was kind of toxic behavior, at some point I had to say, y'all, you can have it.
Right.
I'm out, and you have to kind of let that sit there for however long it has to sit there. And,
So, since we're on that level of friends and family as well as boyfriend, girlfriend type
yeah,
situations,
because you kind of have to have the whole conversation.
so even in that, right?
Yeah.
Even in that, what hurts more? Is it from family or is it from the person you're in a relationship with?
That's a good question.
Again, that's layered.
Okay.
If you've shared with your partner your hurts, triggers, and they go and do that exact same thing, I think that has a greater effect because you actually have a personal relationship with that person. Now, when it comes to family, a lot of family relationships are more surface. You don't have like that intricate, intimate relationship with your
That's true.
family members as you do with the partner. Like with your partner, you're naked. You're just bare.
All
You're
in.
just bearing everything to that person. Whereas with family, you're a little bit more guarded, because of respect for the grandparents, respect for the parents. But with that partner, you're just all in. It's see me as I am.
Okay.
I agree.
Miss Danielle, what you got for me?
I agree. Family is family and partner is partner. The hurt is separate.
So is the partner held to a higher standard than the family then? Because it sounds
Of
like
course. I mean,
Yes.
if you've chosen to live your life, share your life with your life partner,
Right.
of course you're like Christian said. Am I pronounced Christian? Yeah. Like she said, you've decided that you're going to do life with this person. So of course there's going to be a higher standard because we're in this thing together. So absolutely.
wow. I love it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go into the polls and we're going to look at the results of what people chose when they asked the question of, can you really love while still hurting with the person who hurt you?
Okay.
Let me reread that again. Can you really heal, I'm sorry, while still loving the person who hurt you? The answers or options were yes, no, it depends, which I then requested that they comment below. And then the other option was, I'm still trying to figure it out. So with the results, it actually was 60% said yes, they could. No.
60 is a big number.
I know. No said, it was 28%. Let me see something. Let me flip it over to you guys so you can see it. Yeah. So it said no was at 28%. We had one at saying that it depends, comment below. And then we also had, I'm still trying to figure it out at 12%. So the highest was the yes, can you really heal while still loving the person who hurt you?
Because I mean, then you also have to look at everything that's involved in that relationship. Like you have to, and again, it's still about choices, right?
Right.
You have to consider children. You have to consider the whole invested time, not just years, but energy, financials, and all the things that you've accumulated and acquired together. I mean, I guess it depends on where you are in your level of relationship. And again, for me, it goes back to, what do you choose to do? Because it's not as simple as, no, I can't heal, because you have to choose. There was an old song. I guess I'm the older person
No.
on the panel tonight, but there was a song. This song is older than me, but I think it was two songs. One was "It's Cheaper to Keep Her."
It's cheaper to keep her.
Come on,
Yes.
sing it. Yeah. And He's Got Papers on Me, or something like that.
Wow.
So you have to think about all of those things from my perspective.
Okay.
You think about those things and you choose, am I going to move forward with this? Am I going to choose to heal? Because if I choose to move forward, I also have to choose to heal.
Right.
Because it's one thing to stay and continue and fester in it, and who's going to... Everybody else around you is moving forward, but you're stuck in this place of, I can't heal because this person did this to me. But you have to, if you're going to stay, you have to actively be involved in your personal healing and moving forward with that or from that. Now, are you going to have days where it hurts? Are you going to have days where you might look at this person, I can't stand you? Because what in your mind made you do that thing?
Yeah.
Right.
You know, what in your mind just caused you to do whatever?
Right.
Right.
But actively healing is, again, it's a choice. You have to choose, because you're thinking about all these other things.
And I'll say, with the 60% that said they can,
Right.
that 60%, they want to do the work to heal. It's a choice. They're choosing to. Those 60%, they don't want to walk around holding that burden. They don't.
Exactly. Absolutely right. Because
And you know how tiring that is, day in and day out, walking around with hurt. And you would be surprised what you're holding on the inside, how that exudes
I
to
know.
people that
Yeah.
you just come into contact with, whether they're bypassers, whether they're co-workers, people under your house, in your household. You would be surprised at whatever you're harboring on the inside.
They can see
They can
or
see
feel
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In body language
Yeah.
May not say
and
anything.
deliver.
Right.
You will be surprised.
Yeah.
Y'all are good. Okay, I love this. I love this. So when I gave you guys a topic, saying hurting to heal, what came to your mind? What's the first thing that came to your mind? I'm going to start with Ms. D, because you've been a little quiet over here. I know.
The first thing came to my mind was more so family,
Okay.
Okay.
and then relationship was like number 2.
Okay. So elaborate a little bit more with family.
So family, I thought it was like a relationship with your parents or your siblings, a situation that you might have, fell out about, anything,
Right.
how that comes into play of healing. So it's different. My siblings and we're really close.
Okay.
Yeah, they've hurt me. And it's like I'm working through that, but I set my boundaries.
That part.
Now, my parents, I don't know. I'm still kind of,
The jury's still out.
the jury's still out on
Working
that
through
one.
that.
Because you have one hand that say your parents, give them a little slide,
Grace.
Grace. Correct.
but then you had the other side say, no, ain't nobody gonna handle me like that. I don't care who you is.
Right.
So it depends.
All right.
That's good.
Miss
It
Christian, what was
depends.
the first thing that came to your mind when I gave you the title of Hurting to Heal?
Family,
Okay. Elaborate for me.
personal experience
Okay.
that people don't like to talk about. When illness, then death occurs, you will see a side of people that you never thought existed. You can only see that side from people during those life experiences.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, I'll say this. Older generational people,
Mhm.
they raise families a certain way. And then you have the newer
That's it, yeah.
generation that comes in
Dealing
and
with that
says,
right now.
y'all swept a lot of stuff under the rug.
Right.
And that may have worked for you all, but we're in a different time.
Right.
And that's not going to fly with us. Right is
Mhm.
right, wrong is wrong. And I'm very much a person of, if mom and dad wanted things to be a certain way, let's honor them.
Okay.
And move as such. But don't use it as a crutch,
Gotcha.
because family will allow bad behavior. Family will enable bad patterns. And then you are left to clean that up.
Right.
And then you tend to look like the bad person. And then the extension of that is, now comes the hurt, where some people may feel like the black sheep. Some people may feel like you're trying to be the dictator. But your goal is to even the playing field and just make things fair across the board.
Right.
And so with family, you got to learn to cut ties.
Which is hard.
And all family is not blood. Let me just say that.
Okay.
You have to choose if you want to be in relationship with your family. It's not mandatory. You get to choose that relationship. And it's up to you to decide if I want to keep going through the hurt and the disrespect, or do I want to say, hey, we're family, give it to God, and you go walk a different path. And a lot of people are afraid to do that.
Mm-hmm.
They are.
I think a lot of people, I won't say afraid. Well, I'll use afraid too, but kind of getting into what you were just talking about. I think a lot of us, from our standpoint, we choose because of our parents, like what you were saying. The whether it's mamas and your aunt or the aunties or whatever, you tend to put forth more effort because they want to make sure, or they voice that they want the family to stay together. So I get that.
And you're not realizing, when they say family needs to remain family, you're not realizing what all they put up with. And because you'll be surprised at what they didn't talk about, what they didn't share.
Right.
Yeah. And, you're surprised at a lot of things that they do share, and a lot of things that come out like 50 years later for the sake of, and they kept it quiet for the sake of the family.
But was that healthy?
Right. Exactly. Absolutely not. Because when it's been withheld, look at what it birthed throughout the years, in the children that y'all had, and then our children, and the fact that our children don't know most of their family because even though you kept it under wraps and you swept it under the rug,
That's a good one.
You have a whole generation of family They have no idea who they are. And then they feel uncomfortable when they're forced to be in the same room with
Right.
people that are family that they have no idea. Like, I don't know them.
Right.
That's my
Yeah.
first, they're my second cousin, they're my
Right.
third cousin. But I don't know. I don't even know their name. Yeah. I don't know how we got there, but yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, and that was where I was going to go since you guys went there.
Mm-hmm.
Relating to family secrets. You know how,
Mm-hmm.
like you said, the older generation kept things from us to protect us.
Mm-hmm.
And so even with that, where does protection versus actually ending up hurting an individual actually fall?
Blurred lines.
Because
Mhm.
if there is a secret that may just be something that someone will now look at you differently versus something that will truly hurt the individual, are you really hurting them or are you protecting them?
What if the secret is a person, like the outside child?
But
How does that hurt the family?
it hurts
It-
it hurts the image of that person.
Well, it hurts the person, because if they're an outside child and they're not technically, they're part of this family.
That's
And then
Okay.
you know that that's another level of hurt
Mhm.
that the family is either choosing not to deal with or to deal with. But you have this person that, especially if they want to be a part of that family, and then you have to hold or treat this person a certain way because mama and aunties and uncles are kind of refusing to accept that person. So again, like you said, there are layers to the hurt, and how do you heal from it when you actively choosing not to?
right.
It's layered. It's layered.
This is a hard
It's layered.
conversation.
We would be
because
here all
you
day.
could go round and round about it all night.
Right. So then I asked a question for the poll for everyone out there in the virtual world. You know, can family secrets hurt?
Absolutely,
Yeah, they can.
absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Wow.
Yeah.
So when we asked the questions relating to I also asked a question as well prior to the week was what was the biggest hurt that you can remember as far as just in a person's life? So I was actually surprised that there were those who were vulnerable, but I do appreciate it. There were individuals who shared loss of a family member, hurt from intimate partners, betrayal from friends,
Mm-hmm.
and it was I wouldn't say it was a shock to me, but again, the level of vulnerability that people possessed and actually gave at that time was, recognizable. So before we go there, I'm going to ask you guys another question. Do you believe that you have to stop loving a person in order to heal?
Sometimes.
Can you elaborate that for me?
I mean, okay, from
Okay.
an intimate perspective.
Okay.
Like, we've all had more than one relationship in our lives. And there may have been there has been relationships that we've all probably had that we had to say, okay, this is just not good for me. I love this person, or I have like this intimate connection with this person that may or may not be love that I'm
Right.
calling love.
Right.
Infatuation.
Well,
Lust.
infatuation, lust, toxicity, whatever you want to call it, but we call it love. But at some point we have to choose, am I going to let this relationship absolutely kill me, or am I going to just choose, I got to
Right.
walk away. I got to
Yeah.
walk away. Is it hard?
I gotta put me
Absolutely.
first, Lucia.
Yeah. Come on, Lucius and Cookie. I gotta have me first, Lucius. Because I can't keep coming back.
All right now.
Yeah. But yeah, you have to make an active choice. I love this person, but this person is killing me. This relationship is killing me. I've got to figure out a way to step away and move forward with my life, because if I don't, I can't move forward with my life. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. And since we're here at this point in time, first I want to say to those who are out, watching on the virtual world, if you have not already, go ahead and like, share, and follow the
Mhm.
Epic Ways podcast as well as the Epic Ways page. We are actually live on TikTok as well. So
Okay.
we got some TikTok viewers that
Nice.
I know of, don't know of rather. So
Yeah.
hello to you world. So yes, go ahead and make sure that you like and follow Epic Ways podcast on Facebook as well as on all other social media platforms. So going back to what I was saying, as far as those viewers who were vulnerable, I would like to read to some of them. So Mr. Ernest Wheeler said that I would say that that the maturity of love has to come from both in order to continue on with a situation of after hurt. And so then we also had Miss Danielle. She had wrote a comment on there.
I had a lot of them.
Yes, I see. And she wrote, I've had so many losing my best friend, Iman Partridge, in high school due to leukemia. Losing my best friend, Shantae Talley, unexpectedly. Losing my maternal grandmother.
Yeah, that's
Having two special needs children, not knowing how to navigate if I'm doing good or bad or indifferent. Losing my dad, to losing my son's father unexpectedly, and finding out my mother has cancer.
wow.
It's heavy.
Yeah.
Very much. So.
Heavy.
Wow.
Yeah.
So let's stop here because I don't want to just read over that and not talk about it.
Mhm.
So, with all of those things, not knowing how far the time span was, but it doesn't matter in the end because that's a lot for one
Yeah.
person to take on. So, currently, how do you heal through all of this hurt?
So currently, I kind of, I just look at the good times that I had with those people that I lost.
Mhm.
And I try not to sit in it. I try to keep going and, just look at the positive outcomes of it. But those last three, they came back to back, like boom, 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 boom. Those first ones, like, I think when you're younger,
Mhm.
you're like, okay,
It happened.
yeah, this
Mhm.
person
That's a part of
passed.
life.
It
Yeah.
happens. But when it's somebody in your family or you're close to, you're like, whoa, wait a minute. It's knocking on the door.
Reality.
Right.
What we got to do now? So, yeah.
So, how have you, or what techniques or what things do you do normally? Because I'm sure, as it has for me, for my grandmother, losing my grandmother, my grandfather, it just hits you out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So, how do you navigate with that as well as still having two kids that are depending upon you?
Most definitely prayer. Showing up for them, not sitting in it is important. But of course, you can have those good days where you're like, okay, today is going good, but you got this one memory
That just
or that one
It'll
scent
trigger
or that
everything.
Trigger.
you just over with it. And I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, try it out, Danielle, but let's get back to the program. So you just have to learn how to navigate it.
I appreciate that, and I want to let you know that we are here for you. So
Absolutely.
anytime,
Thank you.
I'm a listening ear for you. So then we also had Miss Melissa. She also stated when you loved someone and then you discovered they didn't love you back.
Yeah.
I think everyone loves differently.
Correct.
Yeah.
Love languages.
Love
correct.
languages.
Yes, we've hit on that topic as well.
Mhm.
But I think relating to her, it's just more so of, as you said before, we think that we are in love with a person or a person loves
Right.
me. But when you take a step back and look at it, love doesn't hurt
Right.
in a sense, as far as where someone may be taking advantage of you, someone that
Yeah.
disrespects you,
Right.
someone hurts you, someone is physical, in a negative way against you. Love doesn't hurt. So I think,
And then love is
mm,
such a place of vulnerability for
Yes, ma'am.
everyone,
Yes.
right? So opening yourself up to that opens yourself up to whatever that other person has dealt with or not dealt with.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I say, and I said, everyone loves differently because of that. Not
Right.
not just from the love languages perspective. You have to look at that person as an individual and really say, okay, what happened in this person's life, or what did this person grow up in their environment that showed them what love was or was not.
Mm-hmm.
And you take that on when you decide to purposely be in a relationship with someone. So my level of love and how I see love, or how my children even see love because of how they were raised, is going to look absolutely completely different from the people that they choose to go in a relationship with.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So you have to take on all of that. You have to be cognizant of that. And, there are layers to that, because if you're loving someone at 20,
Right.
They're not the same
and you're
person.
loving someone at 30, 40, 50, you're going to have a different outlook of how you love and how you understand how that person loves you.
Right.
And again, that word choice is going to it's in all of this, because I can look at how you love me, and I may say that's not love to me, but it could absolutely be love to you, because of
Yeah.
how your learned behavior with what love is, or
Right.
what your capacity to love me is, because my capacity can be completely different from your capacity, and I have to come to terms with, and again, I have to heal from what is hurting me by looking at you saying, oh, you're not loving me right.
Right.
And I want to piggyback off of that,
Okay.
and because this is something I didn't realize until a few years after my mom had passed.
Okay.
And I just had like this aha awakening moment. And I remember calling my oldest sister, and we had this. I was driving this particular day, and me and Gabby had this almost 3-4 hour conversation.
Wow.
Yeah. And we were just talking about our moms. And I was like, I'm just now realizing where I felt like sometimes my mom didn't show up for me.
Mm-hmm.
My mom was in 4 different phases of her life when she had her kids. So, like, with my oldest brother, she's like in her early 20s. And then me and Bridget come along. She's, somewhat more settled.
Right.
And then, my younger sister, Erica, she comes along. And I'm like, Erica got the best version of my mom. She got the best version because she was more settled. She knew who she was as a woman. She knew who she was as a mom.
Exactly.
And it took for me to realize that after she was gone.
So when
And
you
I wish I had given more grace.
okay,
Right.
so when you realize
That's
that,
good.
that's what you got out of it. Was that
So
you
the
were looking for?
hurt that I felt like I had with her at certain times, I started healing from it after her passing.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. You're gonna get different versions and different levels of people, and that's another thing that we have to look at when we're talking about loving someone. And we have to again choose: am I going to continue with this in this relationship to get to the next level of not only who they are but who I am as
Right.
well. So again, healing hurts because we have to be completely, absolutely honest with not only the person but ourselves. Because I think you said at the beginning, we all play
A part.
an
Yeah.
accountability part in all of our relationships. So that healing to hurt title that you gave it, again, I say you absolutely healing hurts because you have to be honest enough with yourself and that person to say, where do I fit into this equation? And how do I agree to love you even though it may hurt?
Right. So as a plug for you,
No plug.
You recently wrote a book, Grace and Glow.
Oh my goodness,
Your-
I did.
Yes, your book, Grace and Glow, talked about your journey of healing.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you would, tell us how hurt or even staying silent during hurt or feeling like everyone is dependent upon me, how that worked out for you in physically, mentally, and emotionally.
Oh my goodness. Well, obviously, how it worked out for me, birth Grace and Glow, right? Um, and the whole journey of Grace and Glow is from the perspective of pretty much what we're talking about tonight, healing from hurt that we choose not to heal from, or for whatever reason we choose to carry it because we have all of these responsibilities. And when we look at it from a woman's perspective, we tend to, whether it is imagined or reality, we tend to take on everybody's stuff because we think that, you know, we're the matriarchal figure in the family, we're the mom, we're the wife, we're the partner, we're the businesswoman, we're the daughter that is the daughter that's holding the thread, that's unraveling, and all of those things, right?
Right.
So yeah, that's where Grace and Glow came from, because I was one of those women who thought that it was my burden to bear. But I will also say this. I'm very grateful for Grace and Glow. Obviously, I'm not throwing it away. We're doing all these wonderful things with it. But when it comes to hurt, and identifying it with Grace and Glow, again, we have to be careful. And this is where I am walking in Grace and Glow. We have to be careful to not take on the burden or the identity of hurt. So we have to look at that as well, because we can sit in hurt all day long, right? And then it becomes our identity. And I'll say this: I remember a time where I had a friend from years ago, history. So I'll just put it like that. Years ago, every time you came in contact or you encountered this person, it always went back to what hurt them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and every conversation was about what hurt them, whether it was in a professional standpoint, personal. At some point, folk gonna run from your hurt because the only way that you know how to deal, or the only way that you've chosen how to deal with it, is to, what's the word I'm looking for? Bleed on everybody else,
Mm.
as opposed to properly dealing with it. And I know, you know, we use the word therapy a lot in this time,
Right.
but it's a very real thing.
It is.
Because it's unhealthy. And this is my perspective. It is so unhealthy and unfair to decide whether you've done it purposefully or, you know, indirectly. It's unfair to pour that or to bleed on everyone else around you, because
Right.
if you don't know how to deal with it, what make you think they know how to? So yeah, I appreciate you throwing Grace and Glow in the mix, but we ain't gotta talk about it today.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. But you can get it on Amazon if you would. It's called Grace and Glow by D.
Oh my
Mosley.
goodness. Sponsorship.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
But no,
Michael.
I appreciate it. What's a hurt that people underestimate as being really impactful? So, what's a moment of hurt that really, really impacts you as an individual? It could be something like, you know, betrayal, rejection, cheating, you know, lying. What's one of those things that is like not looked at as
Rejection can be huge.
Mhm.
Especially if you're rejected from folk that have said that they are friends,
Mhm.
or, you know, even passively partnership relationships. And then you find yourself on the other side of looking or feeling like you were rejected by that person. Like you've walked in relationship together on a positive, from a positive standpoint, and then all of a sudden they flip.
Mm-hmm.
That can hurt because if you are, you know, of a certain level of maturity, you don't necessarily want to go there because because they did.
Right.
And you also don't want to, if you're at a certain level of maturity, you don't want to put yourself out there to look like a petty Betty.
Right.
Right.
So rejection can hurt because how do you deal with it? What do you do with it?
Right.
With rejection.
Yeah.
How
do you deal with it?
So I've been rejected a lot in my life.
We all have.
Yeah.
We all have.
But how do I deal with it?
Mm,
To be honest, I internalize it.
really?
Yeah. I don't talk about it. So because I think we talked about a episode previously
We did.
that couldn't get aired. But we talked about it, and I was telling them how, you know, even because we all went to Westside Magnet School together.
Okay.
And, you know, like I felt at times that I was not truly within the crowd. I was physically there, but I felt like at times I didn't match up to those who were around me.
Right.
So it may not have been a direct rejection, but indirect as well as in your own mind. Like, okay,
Right.
I don't fit in. I'm not cool.
I
You
think
know.
I dealt with that when I was in school.
And then, you know, jobs. When I know,
That's
especially,
big.
and that's one of those biggest things, you know, especially when you know that you're qualified for the job.
And you're like, what's wrong with me? Why am I getting all these rejection letters?
Correct.
Yeah.
And-
Thanks, but no thanks.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so, and then you see the person that is hired, and they don't even have the qualifications that
Right.
you do.
So you're like,
It's like,
what is this nepotism?
Right.
Is it, you know,
Yeah.
who do I know? Who do they?
Correct.
Yeah, uh-huh.
correct.
Yeah.
And then you end up having to train them.
Yeah.
It's
that
like, wait,
part.
what?
Yeah.
Like, how did all
So
this happen?
that's a lot
Mhm.
to actually.
I actually had that
Definitely.
happen a few years back. I work in a male-dominated industry for
Okay.
the most part, and all of these suggestions and processes that I'm implementing, they're just falling on deaf ears. Then there's a new hire that comes in,
Mm.
and like maybe day 2, he comes in. He's just picking my brain. I'm picking his brain, and he had some of the same suggestions.
Mhm.
And when he presented them, yeah.
Wow.
And I'm like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's a whole nother conversation. Because
Yeah.
Wow.
The professional dynamic
Mm.
of men and women,
Yeah.
race, all of that. That's a whole. You should.
Yeah.
You should do.
That-
We should do one about
That's
the
tough.
workforce.
You should.
Oh, for sure.
That's a tough-
yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
That's
Okay.
They're cheating
Cheating.
for sure. That's what they said.
So for,
I agree. Cheating, yeah.
Mhm.
I think with cheating, the younger you are, you have people say, "Oh, that's one heartbreak. You'll have many."
Mm-hmm.
And then you get older, and you've invested that time,
Right.
and they've cheated you. Like,
So what's
Wait a minute.
what's the excuse now? I'm
Right.
older.
hold on now.
Yeah,
What we
exactly.
talking about?
Exactly.
I think it hurts. Of course, it hurts more when you're older because I'm truly invested in this
That
person. You know,
time,
my
yeah.
money, my time. You know,
Yeah.
it
my
just
feelings.
hurts all around.
It hurts all around.
Yeah.
But again, and you talk about internalizing things, but as you're, like you said, when you get older and you have all these other elements that go along with it, as
True.
opposed to when you were 20,
Mhm.
what do you do with it? What would you do with it? Aside from making the choice, we're going to stay, we're going to work this out because we got all this going on.
So, in the moments when I have been cheated on,
Mm-hmm.
what did I do with it?
Sit in it for one.
Very much so.
You know, because you're looking at, I was rejected loudly.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You brought someone else into this relationship, so someone else has
Access.
access to my world and
Mhm.
someone else can, partner with you to look at me as if I wasn't enough.
Right.
So, and then you, the person who was cheated on, you have to, like you said, internalize that,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't want the rest of the world to know whether they find out or not.
Right.
But I don't want to fall apart either in front of the whole world
Bingo.
just because you cheated on me. Because what does that say about me?
Right.
But I think for me in my situation, what made it worse was kind of like the gaslighting part, especially even more when I see you.
Ooh, yeah.
I see you,
Yeah.
and you try to downplay it as, oh, it wasn't that.
You mean they intentionally gaslight, like, we're here, we're in a place where we know you're going to be, or we know that we're gonna have to be in the same place.
Mm-hmm. And then even with having the communication, I think we said this, 2 episodes back, about for a man to be cheated on by his girlfriend, wife, whatever, whatnot.
Right.
He would slide
It-
down the wall.
Yes.
They do, don't they?
And that's because for how I
Because-
interpret it is that for a woman to do such of a thing, the first step is mental, to cheat
Right.
on the man. It's a mental thing versus,
What do you mean? What do you mean it's a mental thing?
so okay, mentally you're invested in that person.
Mhm.
You have to be connected with that person
you're
to
saying
go
if-
to that
if she
level
goes
of
to
intimacy.
The other person,
Correct.
it's
It's
she's mentally
and
invested.
emotionally correct, which is
Emotionally, right.
way more
worse.
than what a
It's way
man
worse.
normally does in those type of situations.
Yeah, you can look at it from that
So
perspective.
for some men it's physical, for some men it's mental and physical.
Correct.
Okay.
Because
I think you're also saying if a woman cheats, even if she cheats emotionally, it's worse because
you're
she's in
the mind, yeah, you're
she's over
you're
there.
correct.
Even if
Your
she's
body's
in the-
over here, but
yeah,
your
your
mind's-
mind,
yeah, that way.
Yeah, yeah.
That part. So
yeah.
so for
I get that.
so so yes, cheating, ooh, that's a hard one. That's a
And
hard
then
one.
then when children are involved, and you cheat, and the relationship between the parents end, and
Mhm.
this whole other person is in the mix.
In this, yeah,
Yeah, that's
thankfully I have
Mm.
not had to experience that with my child's mother, but I've been in places and spaces with people who had kids that I was around. So when you do cheat, it's like outside of just me and you,
Right.
you brought somebody else around the kids.
Right.
Right.
So it's like you said, layers on top of layers. So for me, yeah, I'm gonna have to ride with Miss Alyssa on that one.
Yeah, for me also with cheating, and this may be a whole nother topic of conversation, when kids are involved, even if there's no marriage or whatever, but when you start to have children with someone and you're in a relationship, even if you're not married, my whole mindset and philosophy was, once we've had kids together, and this may be really crazy, but my concept was, I didn't want especially my daughter, because she's the oldest, when she was
Okay.
smaller, because my husband and I, we didn't get married until she was almost 2. So there was like a single parenthood moment there for a couple of
Okay.
years. But my mindset was, I did not want her to see me with another man.
Mhm.
So, it was like, I don't want anything involving her seeing me with someone else, because I didn't want her to be confused, even though at 2 years old she wouldn't remember it. But that was my mindset.
Right.
Right.
If we're together, we're gonna figure this out. We're gonna work through this. That's just me. I mean, maybe that's old school, but that's where
Definitely.
I know.
No, but not age bashing, but I'm saying like old mentality.
Yeah,
because
I get
the
that.
new generation is not
I
that.
think I get that also from the new generation is not that.
Mm-hmm.
But my grandparents were, I grew up for the most part in my grandparents' home a lot. Like I feel like my grandmother raised me just as much as my mama did. So I, saw and heard them say, we not so much say it, but see them stick and stay
Right.
Right.
through a lot of things.
Very much so.
Because that's just what we did.
And times were
Or the sa-
different.
Yeah, exactly. The
Yeah.
times were different. Yeah.
Oh, okay, man. So go back to the poll. For those who said yes,
The 60.
yes, the 60% that said yes.
Mhm.
If you're if you're in the live right now, I would love to know, what does it look like as far as healing while you're hurting and your person who hurt you is within your space? What does that look like? How does that feel? What, like on a normal situation or a normal day, this person has hurt me. I'm choosing to stay, but I'm also choosing to heal.
Mm-hmm.
How does that work? Not saying I don't know, but how does it work?
You got to have some uncomfortable conversations.
That's what I was gonna say.
No matter how ugly, no matter how hurtful.
Give me a scenario. Let's go with it. What's the
Both people
what's the
have to be
uncomfortable part?
Like she just said, having the conversation. Healing hurts because you have to confront what hurt you, and even if that's the person.
And you have to ask the questions like why.
Mhm.
And you have to fish some of the information out, because sometimes people don't have a why. And they'll sit there and try to ponder how to answer that question.
Or avoid it.
Or avoid it. Hopefully they'll try to figure out an answer. Well, was it this? Was it something I said this particular day? And when I said this in that moment, what was your emotion that particular day? Because I don't know if you had a bad day that day, and the way my delivery was, it set something off. You just gotta fish. You gotta throw questions out. You just have to, because no one is just gonna sit down and say, well, hey, Michael, when you did this, I felt this way, and so
Right, that part.
nobody's gonna say that.
Nobody's gonna do that.
But why not?
I don't have an answer. In a perfect world, sure.
Not wanting to be confrontational.
Yes.
Okay. So let's elaborate on that one.
So, an example,
Mm-hmm.
when we talk about family,
Mhm.
can you heal while still loving the person that hurt you?
Right.
If it's family, it depends on the situation.
Okay.
So, an example would be, I guess, death. And it didn't go right. Everybody was just all over the place, right? So in that instance, I would say, you could say, yeah, sister, you hurt me, but am I going to be, is it going to be confrontational? Are you going to take this as, let's sit down and talk about it? Or are you going to be like, well, what you bringing this up for? It's aggressive. So it's kind of like, with family, you got to kind of read the room.
Okay.
That's good. Yeah.
I like
You
that.
do have to
Reading
read
the room. Yeah. Yeah. That's
Relationship wise, it's more easier. Now, I don't know why, but personally, I don't have a problem telling my partner, yeah, what you did yesterday, you're wrong. But my family, I got to tiptoe. I got to tiptoe around it. Because, previous episode, I'm a people pleaser.
Correct.
I'm calm. I'm that person. And then I have my other siblings, rah, what you see. So I got to choose my words wisely, or this might be a whole full-blown argument.
Oh, wow.
Right.
Okay. So, Miss D, what you got for me?
I agree with what she said. You have to read the room. And sometimes I know she said that it's easy in her intimate relationship, but sometimes you have to, for me, you have to read the room. And if you know the person that you're involved with, then you know that they're not going to be receptive.
Right.
You're so why even go there when you know you're going to get nada. You're going to get zero, nothing.
Mhm.
So why put yourself in a position of getting all worked up when you know that you may be ready to heal from the hurt,
Right.
but your partner is nowhere near ready. So you have to choose to actively pursue your healing,
Even if they're not
even
ready.
if they're not ready, and still maintain a relationship. Because even if you're in a relationship with someone, you're still your own person. You're still an individual, and you have to choose healing for you, so that the relationship can look different for you from your perspective. And they have to at some point, and then that is a whole nother part of healing in totality within a relationship. When one person, especially if you choose to stay,
Right.
when one person actively chooses healing and moves on with healing, and the other person can actively see them healing, at some point it is absolutely going to pull them or force them to look introspectively and say,
You know what?
this is really on me now. Now I have to, if I'm going to keep pace with my partner and we're going to heal completely, then now I have to heal. And I got to face my demons. Now I have to face what I did. Now I have to face why I hurt them or chose to hurt them. And then too, when you do your part, and let me bring a little church in here. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Go
Come on,
ahead.
Sunday morning.
It's Sunday. It's Sunday. Go ahead.
You know that old adage, this ain't even scriptural.
Right.
But when you take one step, God will take two. So when you choose to do your part, God will step in with that other person. Sometimes you don't even have to do anything. Yeah, I know it hurt. But if you actively pursue moving forward in your growth and your healing, God will take care of the rest.
Oh yeah.
Because sometimes he'll even make the whole house burn down around them, whether it's on their jobs, with other relationships, that, family, everything will fall apart for them because God's spinning the block for you over here so that he can open their eyes and pull back the curtain for them to say, golly, let me get myself together. Because if I don't, I'm gonna keep the whole picture is gonna continue to point toward me. So I mean, at the end of the day, you can choose to actively heal, and when you do, he'll take care of the rest.
And you really have to ask God to help you.
Yeah,
And,
absolutely. Oh my goodness.
Like,
Oh my
and
goodness.
I was sharing with one of my best friends. I was like, girl, this year, I think I have, between this year and last year, but definitely this year, I said, I feel like I have just cried and cried and we not even, we not even at the
we barely in the middle.
Yeah, and I was like, girl, I just feel like I have just cried and cried and cried this year. And, I am so thankful that y'all have been around to at least give me some laughs, because it's been a year of working through some emotions. It really has. And
That's that big girl stuff.
when I probably say like early spring, I just had, it was an awakening. That's the only way I can put
I
it.
love that.
And I just woke up. I had a different mindset.
I love that.
And I remember like driving to work and I was just crying. Driving from work, crying, get home, same thing. And I remember this one particular day, I got to work and I was supposed to go into a meeting right when I got to work. And so I knocked on this lady's door. And again, like I shared with you earlier, I was like, Mike, I don't do stuff like this. And I went in her office and I was like, I don't know what's going on. And I said, I just need you to really just like pray. I said, pray for me.
My.
And so she said, no, I'm gonna pray with you. And so I literally sat down at her desk and she was just holding my hands and like I was just shaking.
Wow.
And she just started speaking over me.
My.
She started, when I say speaking, and I don't let people pray over me, but something just like led me to her door. Something, I don't know what it was.
The Holy Spirit.
And like I say, this year it's just been I'm really sitting in my emotions this year.
And that's
Right.
where the healing
And like I shared earlier, I
starts.
typically stay busy to avoid a lot of emotions. But whatever I asked God for, or even if I didn't verbalize it to God, He was like hearing my heart.
He hears your heart.
And
Absolutely.
He was like, all right, I'm finna peel back some stuff for you.
Absolutely.
I'm finna shake you up. I'm finna make you
Absol-
very uncomfortable.
Absolutely.
So
When you're open to healing, when you like you just said, when you are willing to sit in the emotions,
yeah.
that's when God can step in. And
Yeah.
that's when, like you just said, He's saying, okay, you're ready now.
And like my friends know now, I'll cry at the drop of a dime. Like
That's good. That's the good
like
stuff.
I'll go from smiling and laughing, and then the next thing you know, I'm just like, and they're like, "You all right? You?"
Yeah.
And they are just so
That's
supportive
so healthy.
and comforting.
That's healthy.
And helpful.
And like I say, with grief, it'll just hit you at random times
Out
the
of
day.
nowhere.
When you've cut family off, it'll hit you at random times of the day because you want, sometimes you want to be
Yeah.
in relationship with family, but you just know like it ain't healthy. Like it's gonna set you back from where you've actually grown. If you
Yeah.
saw me, if you saw me maybe 6-7 years ago, this is not that person.
Okay.
It's not. And I wouldn't trade it because I needed all of that rain to get me here. I
Mm.
did. Yeah, I did. So I've done and I'm still doing the work to
Mhm.
heal through all of the hurt. I am.
I think it's a
It's
lifelong,
never ending.
Exactly. It's a
It's never
lifelong
ending.
process.
Mm-hmm.
Because as long as we have breath, that we're and as long as we're willing participants of love and to be loved,
Mm-hmm.
something is going to something or someone is going to hurt you, and and I'll say from a personal perspective, my family is dealing with that right now. I won't get into specifics,
Right.
but you wouldn't have told me maybe a year ago that we would be dealing with some family issues where we've cut ties with, or vice versa. We've like mutually cut ties. And I was thinking so much about this person the other day because I'm like, just asking God, how did we get here? And then when you ask that question, you have to be willing to hear Him give the answer. Because again, like we said at the beginning of the podcast, it's not just one-sided.
Correct.
Because if
It's
you
not.
really genuinely ask God the question and you really want His answer, He's going to say, well, years ago when you were doing and saying things to this person and had no regard to that person's feelings, thinking that, oh, it doesn't matter, it's that person, or you're thinking that they're not going to look at it from, or you think that you're not hurting that person because you're the so-called, you're this person and they're that person. They're going to look at it like you're just, joking or whatever. But you don't realize how they're internalizing what you may have said or how you may have treated them just because they view you from a certain perspective. But then the whole house, when you get to the point of the whole house burning down,
Right.
you got to look back at, oh yeah, I did contribute to that.
Yeah.
And then you have to own your part. And God is saying to you, you're waiting on this person. But that person is also waiting on you. So who's going to make the first move?
Right.
And sometimes that pit in your stomach,
It's telling you.
that pit you had in your stomach a while back, you should have acted on it.
Right.
You should have spoke
The
how
red
you
flag.
really felt at that moment versus waiting months and years, and now you looking back trying to figure out how you were accountable in that situation. That pitch you had at that moment, you should have acted on it.
And that's the other person too. They're probably saying the same thing. So when they do get enough courage or strength to say what they should have said 5 years ago, it looks and feels like an explosion because they're exploding all over you from years of what you've said or done to them.
Yeah.
Correct.
yeah, it's a lot of layers to
Yeah.
it.
I see.
It is.
So let me ask you this question for the table. Has everyone participated at any point in time in therapy?
Absolutely.
No,
No?
I have.
I'll probably say grief counseling.
Okay,
I'll take
that's
that back.
that's a form of therapy.
Yeah,
I'll take
I'll
that
take that back.
one. So everyone has.
Yes.
So everyone, there's always a stigma in our community of therapy,
Right.
of it not being needed. Oh, you don't need to go talk to them. You crazy.
Right.
You know.
Mhm.
And so what I would like to do is go back to Miss D again, and we're going to talk about a moment where you wrote in your book about therapy and how it helped. Even me personally, I haven't went through multiple sessions of therapy, but
Right.
like when I have had those conversations with a therapist or people within that realm, there it helped. You know,
It
so
absolutely helps. And it can also at the same time be very scary
correct.
Mhm.
because again, like you said, you're going back to accountability and
Mhm.
you're going back to sitting in the things that you've avoided for years or for however amount of time.
Right.
It helps, but you have to be ready for it.
Mhm.
And when you do take that step, at some degree, it does say that you're ready for whatever that looks like, even if you don't know what it looks like. Because if you've never done therapy before and you
It can be
choose
scary.
to walk in that person's office and sit in that chair and look at them and say, okay, fix me or fix my situation.
Mhm.
But really, what you begin to find is that it's just another person that you're having a conversation with. It's just easier to have a conversation with that person because you're looking at them from a person who's on the outside of your situation.
Non-judgmental.
Yeah, non-judgmental.
They don't know me.
Right. They don't know me. You're looking at them from a professional standpoint and say, oh, they got the paper and the degrees for this. They're gonna tell me. But at
Give
the
you
end
the
of the day,
tools.
right. At the end of the day, it's really introspective. This person is having a conversation with you or giving you the tools or not giving you the tools or just simply having a conversation with you. I'm pro therapy because we've been absent of a place to take our stuff for so long in our communities. Because like you said, family says, oh, we don't do that. We don't go to therapy. You know, if you say you're in therapy, you're crazy. Or if you need to talk to somebody, go to the pastor. But again, I'll say this all day and twice on Sunday. What if, your pastor is not equipped for what you need to talk about?
Right.
Yeah.
And then too, the other side of that is we tend to, if we're active and actively involved in our church, they become family. They,
Right.
so you my pastor, but we family. So
Yeah, I
I
don't
really
need
can't
you,
even talk to
I
you
am my
about this.
husband.
Right.
Because I shared with
Exactly.
you.
Yeah, 'cause you at the end of the you pastor, but we might be real close. So you gonna look at my husband or whoever and be like, oh, you did that.
Right.
Yeah.
And you don't want to put
I don't want to be the
them in a-
topic of the sermon.
baby. Cause
We got some deacons in the house.
in that pulpit and they throwing rocks right at you.
I be clutching my purse like he.
Like,
Right.
"Did I do that?" Yeah.
So even with hurt, let's say in a intimate relationship
Mhm.
aspect, with hurt, does that affect the trust with that
Yeah.
person?
Yeah.
And then that follow-up question is, if I can't trust you, can the relationship still sustain?
Mm-hmm.
It can.
Okay.
I just know how far to go with you.
Right.
And I know who I'm dealing with now.
Right. That part.
But
So it's not shocking to me.
Mm.
okay.
I know
So
exactly who I'm dealing with.
so I'm play devil's advocate with you.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's play
So
it.
now you said it can,
It can.
but now I have to
Mhm.
basically pull back in an area or a space. So now I play that devil advocate. are you truly being you if you're having to restrain certain things?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Are
I'm
you
being true
are you
to
still being
myself.
vulnerable?
I am still being vulnerable.
absolutely.
However, I'm not gonna get mad again because I know who I'm dealing with.
I agree.
Mm.
Yes.
So are we saying
And that leads back into accountability.
So the first answer is yes,
okay?
it does affect trust.
Okay.
And the second answer to that, like she said, you know who you're dealing with. So you can move on and continue with the relationship and still know that there's a certain level of how far I can trust you.
Right.
And you can still be absolutely true to yourself. Because we're not basic humans.
Correct.
We're very complex beings.
Layered. Correct.
So we can absolutely be true to ourselves and have limits on the relationships that we're in, even if it's a partnered relationship.
Yeah. Again, and when I say I know how far to go with you,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I say that in a sense of I'm still gonna move with love with you.
Absolutely.
I'm still gonna give you grace because you're working through some things. I'm working through
That part.
some things, and I deserve the same grace that I would want extended to you. That God
Absolutely.
is giving us.
Right.
Because we could be so self-righteous
This is true.
Until
until yeah.
until it's us.
Yeah, we look at until it's us.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
we can. It's so
And
easy
I've
to
been there,
throw
done that.
rocks. Me too.
I thought I was perfect.
Yeah, like my stuff just
Mm.
all together.
Yeah.
When you have to say no
Yeah.
and extend grace to the other person, it is hard, but you can't publicly say this, that, or the other thing, or treat this person that way, and then not want the same grace from them.
Right.
Mhm.
It doesn't work that way, and that's another leg of accountability.
All right, Miss D, since you've been over there quiet, Miss Danielle. So give me your answer. You are in a relationship.
Uh-huh.
You've been hurt by your partner,
Mm-hmm.
which then means, or whether, let me ask you, does trust get broken at that time? And if trust is broken, do you feel like the relationship can continue to sustain?
It's situational.
Okay.
But I would say yes. Again, you would have to learn how to navigate that relationship at that point
Okay.
with that individual.
Mhm.
Going back to therapy, I have two. I have a therapist
Mhm.
and I have a life coach, and I will tag
Yeah, that's real
them
good.
in the box on this podcast.
Okay.
Phenomenal women.
Go ahead and shout their name out. Go ahead.
Most definitely. Life coaching by Rachel
Mhm.
and Jamie Martin. Two awesome ladies, not even from the area. So I'll definitely tag them. Great sessions with both of them.
All right. I appreciate that.
Great sessions.
So we're talking about individuality as far as healing. And we already said, well, if your partner or persons who hurt you is not in that space
Mhm.
to actually heal with you or take accountability. Now the question is, when you approach that person and said, hey, you hurt me. Hey, I'm still hurting. Hey, I'm trying to heal from the hurt
Mhm.
that you caused. And their response is, I didn't hurt you.
Yeah.
How do you heal in that situation?
Well,
Or what
me-
is Mhm.
So
to have the audacity.
before I have certain conversations,
Okay.
I really do have a talk with self. I definitely have a talk with God. And because I like to be very still, I like to be very centered when I'm having these type of conversations. And I ask that ultimately that I am moving with love. I am asking that my delivery
That's good.
comes out the way that my heart wants it to. Because
like
in the past, I've had like these outbursts, these firecracker moments.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
And
Me too.
I had to learn, and I always say through trial and error, is not what you say, it's how you say it. It's a time.
Definitely.
It's a time for everything. So when you're if you're in a heated moment and you know that person, that might not be the best time to continue that conversation. So let's cool down, let's walk away, and we'll revisit this at a later time. So to that point, I definitely like to be still, be calm, ask God to allow me to move with love before I even have a conversation, and make sure that my delivery comes out again how my heart intends it to. And I think with that, I've been much more successful than I have in the past. Because if I'm coming out the gate,
with your boxing
what
gloves
what do
on.
you expect to get in return? But if I'm like, well, hey Mike, let's talk.
Right.
So
I'm scared.
back to
I'm scared
Yeah.
because I'm like, wait a minute. Cool.
or I don't even say let's talk.
That's
I
a
want to
reaction too.
Yeah.
I want to share something with you. So a couple of days ago when we were in the moment
Right.
and we had a heated argument, I felt this way. And I chose to walk away at that moment because I knew it was going to continue escalating.
Right.
But now I'm in a much more calmer space. I hope you are. Are you?
That's good.
And with permission, give me permission. Because if you're not in a good space for me to continue with this, let me know and we'll revisit another time. I'm not going to push and press an issue.
But does
'Cause
that
the conversation is going to happen.
It has to.
Yeah.
but does that create resistance at a point? Like, like, so if
Yeah.
if you're coming to me and now you're in a calm manner, and like I said, when you say, oh, we need to talk. Okay.
Oh, I won't do
So,
that.
so but even so even in that space, I'm like, okay, wait, what's going on? But then you tell me what it is,
Mhm.
and I say, I don't want to address that right now. But you've come in a calm space versus the rah-rah.
Mhm.
So at some point, does that not be like, okay, well, I keep trying and you're not ready. I keep trying, you're not ready. I'm not like,
Well, that's what I'm saying. We're going to have the conversation. So I'll give you maybe one or two
okay,
chances. Then maybe that second and third chance. All right, I'm going right on in.
okay.
We going to kick the
So
door
you're
down.
still
and we
gonna have the conversation. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. All right. Well, I appreciate that. Anybody else want to comment on that one?
Yeah, I think on the other side of that is you stand to you have to look at it from the perspective of I may lose this. They're gonna get closed off.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And because I think that's, I won't say where a lot of men tend to go, but I will say that's where a lot of men tend to go. When you want to approach them to have a conversation, they're looking like, oh,
What's going on?
what's this about?
What you want
And
now?
they're gonna tend to shut down.
Uh huh.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, do you go from the perspective of, okay, we don't have to have this conversation now, but at some point
We are going to
we're gonna
have.
have the conversation.
Mhm.
So yeah, you do have to expect to get the shutdown part of
Why are
that.
you looking like that?
Definitely.
Because I mean, like she
He's
said,
right.
I'm one of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
'cause
You know what?
He's of the male persuasion.
Mm.
So they're gonna do that. They're gonna shut down.
But even in those spaces, I think with those who I have dealt with in my past,
Mm-hmm.
I think when those conversations do occur, it's timing issues. Like it be at the wrong, like you said, it's a time and a place for everything. But I just feel like it'd be like, bruh,
We're gonna do this
like right now.
Like now.
Yeah,
But is there ever a good? There's never a good time to have a hard conversation.
I think it is.
Never.
No, there's
I think it
never,
is.
Michael. When is there a good time?
When I'm
Because
ready.
like when you're ready, right? And men are never ready.
You're right. There is
There's never a good time to have a hard conversation.
no. I think if prepped, that hey, we need to talk. I think it could be a good time, but by assuming okay, I'm ready to have the conversation. Maybe my partner may be versus giving that hey, let's talk, and then you have that agreement already.
Right.
So then you don't have to prep yourself. Okay, I got my notes. I'm ready to talk about this. And then
what I'ma
he come up,
say.
right. So then I come in and I say, hey, I want to have a
Yeah.
conversation. You're like, oh, not today. You're like, oh, I just wasted this time.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, sort of, kind of, a little bit in.
Yeah.
Agree to disagree.
I mean, I don't think life works that way.
This is true, but giving me a heads up, I can promise you or reassure you that the time probably would allow,
Okay.
if that makes sense. But-
Okay, I'll give you that.
Okay, thank you.
I'll give you that.
Thank you.
Maybe.
Thank you.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Mhm.
Thank you.
That's hard,
Thank
maybe.
you. Oh, okay. So we're gonna read a couple of more of the comments from those
Okay.
who had made comments. Miss Giselle said, being disrespected and treated harshly during a vulnerable time in your life, and she gave the example of pregnancy. So she was disrespected and treated harshly during a vulnerable time, which she
Wow.
was pregnant. Yeah. Miss AJ Nichols.
Okay.
She said, woo, my first real breakup in high school, I almost lost myself.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Then,
Yeah, I think we can all
yeah.
say that.
And Miss Sade Patillo said, realizing that being a good woman doesn't guarantee someone will choose you.
That part.
Right.
I've healed enough to know my value isn't determined by who stays,
Mhm.
but I'm still healing from the fear of giving my heart and ending up in the same space again and again
And
Mhm.
and again.
that's hard.
Mm-hmm.
Miss Jamaica Griffin, definitely the betrayal, but also the realization that someone you wanted so badly wasn't the right thing for you.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mr. Joshua Bell, and this is the one where we'll take a tangent on. The day I lost my mom, and to be honest, you will never heal from losing a parent.
Mm-hmm.
However, you will learn how to accept the pain and hang on to the precious moments or memories that come with it. The journey will not be easy, but having a spiritual mindset definitely will.
Mm.
That's
And
true.
the last two was Miss Aldis, who's been previously on the show. Losing my siblings has caused me the most hurt. Have I healed? No. I've just learned how to keep living with a piece of me missing. Some pain you don't heal from, you just learn how to carry it. And then finally, Maya Dow, she said, sometimes the heartbreak isn't losing the person, it's losing the belief that one day they would finally choose you.
Mhm.
Mm.
That's good. Overall, I think a lot of those responses were from a place of grief.
Correct.
Well, grief is layered also, but from a place of grief of the loss of a loved one,
Yes.
which is there's no right or wrong way to deal with grief. I find myself, I can't imagine what it feels like to have lost a parent.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But here lately, I find myself wondering, how I would navigate that space because my parents are older. And I look at how other people are dealing with and navigating through the grief of their losses of their parents, and it scares me,
Mm-hmm.
if I can be honest,
Mhm.
because I'm at a place where I'm wondering, how am I going to deal with that? Obviously, I know that and I may very well go before they do, but just from an age perspective and looking at where they are, and just I can't wrap my mind around how I would deal with that grief. And I have such empathy and compassion for um, children who've lost their parents, because I'm like, one day that's gonna be me, and how do they even get out of the bed,
Mhm.
especially if you
Mhm.
had a great relationship
Yeah.
with your parents. So that's a different kind of hurt.
Yeah.
And again, this is personal experience with my mom. I think just having a very spiritual group of friends with me. My godmom, she's What am I doing?
It's okay.
Okay.
It's okay.
But my God, mom, she's amazing. And
Take your time.
um, that's like my mom's best friend. And so she shows up. She shows up. Like even when we were cutting up. Like she's just like that.
That's love.
Yeah. She's just that force. I will say that. But having my friends around, that helps a lot. And at the time some of my grandparents were still living when my mom first passed. And so I remember like that day, I think that next day we were just like, it was just like a blank moment. We was
Mhm.
numb.
Right.
Because to know my mom, she's one of them ones, I say that, phenomenal woman. But even in her transition, like she's telling us how things are going to be. And you're going through what you're going through health wise, but you're being a mom still.
Right.
And
That's the mama. That's
you
the
know,
mama.
like the days after, and even like that week after, when everybody go back to their lives. I remember we were just like, all right, so this is the new normal. Now, what did this look like? Now, how do we
navigate?
Wow.
how do we navigate it? And even like today, I'll look at people with their moms, and I just, God,
Wow.
if she was still here, she would say this. And like I joke with one of my sisters a lot, and I'd be like, "Oh, if she here, she'd have all the children, and we can just go do
Right.
this, that, and the third." And just like her being here would just make life easier. Like she would have solutions and answers and guidance for everything. And so to kind of navigate without that is, I don't want to say treacherous, but it's treacherous.
Yeah, that's the word.
Yeah. But
think
like I say, I got some amazing. They ain't even friends. They're family. Like they're amazing. So like even like with Mother's Day, they show up. They're gonna keep me busy
That's sweet.
so that my mind is not on it. Cause like November will be 12 years.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, November will be 12 years. Yeah.
Wow.
So I think even as like birthdays approach, my birthday, I just get real, I withdraw. Like I don't really want to be around people. And if I do want to be around people, the energy has to be super high.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I'll send a random
Almost
text and I'm like, all right, get me out the house. We gotta do something.
Yeah.
And I think some of them can kind of pick up when I'm just withdrawn and they hadn't heard from me. Like they get to worrying, and they'll reach out, they'll pull up. So it's and I wonder how I'll be 40 and 45 and 50 years old, just again trying to navigate life, because you'll never not need your mom.
Right.
I'll say that. And I think the
That's
closest
so
thing to my mom, like I say, is my godmama.
Yeah, that's so true. You
And it
never
don't
not
get
need
better
your
than that.
mother, no
Yeah.
matter where that relationship is. As I look at, I find myself thinking of how grateful I am that my mom is still here. Even in the moments where I look back and just like we just were not on the same page, but at this point in my life, I'm like, she could very well not be here. So how blessed am I that I can, call her or go home just to have, share a meal together, or,
Right.
for her to be on the phone and vent about whatever.
Right.
Because
Even if it's getting on your nerves, it's like,
okay, Mom. But whatever she venting about, you dare not say
Right.
what you really want to say. You just be like,
Yeah.
yes, ma'am.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think about how we minimize the loss or losing a loved one. And I've been thinking about this lately too, just minimizing it to whether or not they had a life insurance policy
Mm.
to cover the cost of the funeral. But that's so small in the grand scheme of things. Like you said, your mother's been gone 12 years, and the void of her not being there in that relationship. Yeah, okay. We need to talk about the thing of life insurance to cover the cost of the funeral, but talking about death and the loss of our parents, the conversation just gets so small
Hmm.
when all you're talking about is whether or not they have a life insurance policy to cover this funeral or whatever debt they have, as opposed to the bigger picture of, okay, they're just not here anymore.
Right.
I won't ever have them anymore. The funeral home gonna get paid. They going the funeral is going to happen.
And tomorrow is
And,
still coming.
and tomorrow is
Tomorrow
still
is gonna
coming.
resume.
Yeah.
They're not here. And at some point, that little bit of insurance money it's gonna be gone anyway. So it does not, absolutely not replace them. So the conversation, again, I know it has to be had, but I guess what I'm trying to say is, we have to be mindful not to take life for granted,
Yeah.
especially those parental relationships, regardless of what that relationship looks like. Because some parental relationships may not be as close as others, obviously, but you still have them.
Right.
Right. So that's another
Topic.
hurt to heal.
That's true.
So, Miss Danielle, with the loss of your father, how when it happened,
Mhm.
how did you navigate those first few days, and how are you navigating now at this point?
Those first, well, actually, it was unexpected. So I had spoke with them 10 days prior. So when we got the call, it was like surreal. You're like, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Really? And then he wasn't local. He was in Atlanta. So we had to drive up there.
That was the longest drive.
And I couldn't ride in the car. So the two that are like better emotionally, they took the drive. So that first day was like, say what? I know I just talked to him a couple days ago.
Right.
It's really a blur. Those first 4 days, oh man, the planning, just going in the funeral home is just so
Going through the motions.
surreal. Going in that room, picking out a casket. Hold up now. You taking it too fast.
Fast, right.
It's hard. And he lived with.
Wow.
And I think the expected deaths versus the expected, while all tragic and hurtful, they just hit different.
Yeah.
They do. They really do.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
you're right. So I can look back on a couple of family members. I guess it depends on the person. I'm thinking about my my grandmother, my great grandmother actually, who raised my dad. She lived for some time. She had my dad was like one of the people, because he's in the health, since retired, but he's in the healthcare field, so he was her caregiver for an extensive amount of time. So at some point it came to where they knew that the end was coming, because she was bedridden, had to do feeding tubes and all this stuff. But I just wonder if it hit different for him,
Right.
even though she was technically for a long time. So I guess what I'm trying to say, I guess maybe it just depends on the person.
I think
it like that it's coming.
Yeah.
As opposed to,
Right.
unexpectedly.
Yeah. And I was actually, where was I? I was in New Orleans, living it up on a trip. I was on my way back, and I remember my brother calling, and he never calls and asks like, when am I coming back? And I was like, I'm on my way back now. But that was just it. And so, and me and one of my best friends, we were driving back. And so I literally get home that night, and I think she came in the house. I can't remember, but I get in the shower and I get out, And this is probably about 9 o'clock at night. And so my brother called and he tells me about my sister. She had an accident. And so he's like already gone. And so I'm just emotionally like can't drive, just shook. And so I called two of my best friends. One of them didn't answer. But the other one, she answered, and I was like, "Where are you? I need you to drive." And like, no hesitation, she's like, "All right, bet." And it's so funny because like I told her, it's like you floated that car. And I think what was like an hour and a half drive, like I was just so mentally spaced out. And it's like we got there, it was nothing on the highway.
30 minutes, yeah.
It was like we were there like 30 minutes flat.
Yeah.
And so one of my other best friend that I had called, she returned my call. And I was like, I don't remember the conversation, but she was like, "Yeah, you were just like, I gotta go see Gabby at the hospital." And she was like, "I just hung up." And she was like, I just sounded spaced out. Just even going there, reliving that, is just, I don't want to say draining in a negative way, but it just pulls on you.
Yeah. Emotionally. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It does.
All right, give me one. One second, guys.
We're frozen.